Now, for years, I've been talking about how precious metals will outperform industry super funds. Recently, we've made a video explaining why, a full analysis on all the numbers, facts, and figures as to why gold has been better since 2009. The best performing of the other industry super funds is at 1.87 million. That is a full $800,000 less in performance than gold. Now, we've had a lot of interest, a lot of people reaching out and asking, that's amazing, how do I set one up? What's the process look like? So in today's video, we're gonna go over the how and why to set up a self-managed super fund so that you can take control of your retirement finances. What a time to be alive. My name is Sam Laurie, founder of Liberty Bullion. We help our clients buy and sell precious metals here in Australia. Now, we recently released a video analysing the differences between gold and industry super funds, showing that gold has had a 440% increase since 2009, whereas the industry super funds have averaged about 220% increase. So what does that mean? It means that if you put both $500,000 in either gold or industry super funds in 2009, you'd be over $1 million better off if you pick gold. So exactly how do you set up a self-managed super fund? Well, it's incredibly easy. The first step is that we can either put you in touch with our accountant, or you can go to an accountant of your choice and get them to set the self-managed super fund up for you. Doing so costs a couple of $1,000s. It takes a couple of months for everything to get done. And then once you're finished, you will have a self-managed super fund bank account that you'll roll your funds into from your industry super fund. And at that point, you get to go shopping for the assets that you would like. So whether that be property, bullion, shares, crypto, whatever it is that you want in your self-managed super fund, now it's your decision to go shopping. At that point, that's when you get to give us a call at Liberty Bullion. You get to buy all the gold, silver, and platinum that you'd like for your self-managed super fund. And then from there, you can choose to either vault it. We can offer free delivery or pickup from the Melbourne Vault downstairs, or you can keep it at home, completely up to you. Now, the cost of setting up a self-managed super fund, it's about $3,000, give or take, and it does take 2 or 3 months for the process to be completed. Is it worth it for somebody with 10 grand in their super? Look, probably not. But is it worth it for somebody with 100 grand in their super? Well, I mean, you look at the numbers and you tell me. But if you only had $10,000 in your super, it's not something to forget about, particularly as that balance grows. It's something to think about for the future. Because you know what they say, from little things, big things grow. So why would you go for a self-managed super fund? Well, it essentially comes down to autonomy over your finances, where if you have an industry super fund, you have a fund manager who may or may not be good at their job. Hard to say. And they'll pick you assets that you may or may not like for your portfolio. So let's have an example here, government bonds. Now, government bonds, in my humble opinion, are a garbage asset. And I'll talk about why. Let's use Australian government bonds that pay you a 4.5% yield today. Well, first of all, I don't believe the government inflation rate of 3-something%. I don't think that's real. I think inflation's closer to 10% in reality. So if inflation's at 10% and you're getting a 4.5% yield on your government bonds, you're going backwards financially. You're not moving forwards, you're going backwards financially. And this was especially the case during the 1970s, the last time that inflation was as bad as it is today. Government bonds earned the nickname certificates of confiscation because they lost you so much money during a high inflation period. So that's what we're in today, a high inflation period, which means that government bonds, promises of worthless fiat currency at some point in the future from a bankrupt government, are a horrible, horrible asset to hold. When I first started working in bullion, I had a client of mine who came in and he was a portfolio manager. So he worked in industry super funds as a portfolio manager. And something that he said to me was, he said, Sam, I don't like what I'm forced to do. And I said, what do you mean? You're a portfolio manager. You're not forced to do anything. He said, no, I am. He said, I'm forced to put my clients into bonds, and specifically government bonds, even though I personally see them as a horrible investment, because if I don't, then I'm not being financially or fiduciarily responsible with my client's money as determined by the government. And therefore, I would lose my license to practice as a portfolio fund manager. I would lose my ability to feed my children. So, Sam, what do I do for my clients? I put them in bonds. I put them in government bonds. Despite the fact that I know it's a horrible asset class, I do it because I have a family to feed. That is industry super funds in a nutshell. They pick assets not necessarily because they're the best assets to hold, but because they're the best assets for them to put you in. For me, I don't really like the sound of that. I don't like the sound of government bonds in my portfolio. That's not autonomy, that's not control over my financial future, and I can do a lot better, frankly speaking. So that is why to set up a self-managed super fund is to escape the tyranny of industry super funds and the laws and regulations that their portfolio managers are forced to abide by. Even if they don't like a particular asset, they have to put you in it. That is a situation that I would not want to be in myself, and one that I help my clients escape. Now, ever since 2020, there's been a huge disconnect in the safe haven assets between government bonds, which are typical safe haven, and gold and silver, which are also typical safe haven assets. Now, government bonds make up a huge percentage of most people's safe haven assets in their portfolios, whereas gold and silver typically make up a lot lower of a percentage, particularly in industry super funds that have no exposure to gold and silver. And to quickly talk about why government bonds have been losing is that bonds lose value when interest rates go up. You locked in a rate that was lower than the rate today. So that's not good. That means you lose money. Now, the reverse is true when interest rates are dropping. When interest rates are dropping and you buy bonds at yesterday's rate, which is higher than today's rate, then you make money on that trade. So when interest rates go down, bond prices go up. And when interest rates go up, bond prices go down. So we've been seeing interest rates go up since 2020, where they essentially hit 0%. Now we're at 4.5%. Bondholders have been losing loads of money, loads and loads and loads of money. Now, over the same time period, gold has absolutely skyrocketed. It's more than doubled, and silver has tripled. So not only have you lost money holding bonds during that time period, but you've also missed out on a huge gain in precious metals over the same time period. And this is just the beginning of the trend. Inflation is not going away. It's only going to get worse and worse, which is why you might want to prepare now. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is right now. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. Just want to reiterate that this is not financial advice. This is just some analysis from my end. And again, talking about what I'm doing with my own money, setting up a self-managed super fund and buying bullion with it. So again, not financial advice, just what I'm doing and what I would do with my money. Now, if you'd like to buy precious metals with a self-managed super fund, or even just have a chat about setting up a self-managed super fund, please reach out. We're here to help.